Yeah,
Yeah, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you, everybody.
Great, great. It was asking me to do the setup, so it took little time.
Okay, no issues. I will just start right now. So if you have any question right now, you can ask any time, or you can be on mute, whichever suits you. Okay, so let me share my screen. I hope you will be able to view it in maybe a minute or so. Okay, so
Hello?
yeah, hello.
Okay. Yeah, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I'm gonna go on a mute.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can go on mute, and whenever required, you can ask, interrupt, and ask for any question. That's perfectly fine. Okay. So I will today just give you a brief demo about this uh, Design Studio tool. Like what are all the things available in this Design Studio tool, how we use them, what are the various backend system to which we can connect, and different type of objects which are available by which we can develop the report. So which actually will give you a brief idea like, okay, how much capable this tool is, and you can get a little bit of idea that, okay, in what ways this will be benefit, or it will be better compared to other SAP business object tools like Webby, Excel sheets, dashboard, Lumira, and all these things. So just giving a brief theoretical idea about this tool, that this is basically the backbone of this tool is the JavaScripting part. So if you are familiar with the any other programming language like C, Java, .NET or anything, it will be an added advantage, but not something like which is very mandatory or which will hamper your understanding of these tools. It's not like that. It's just something you have to program. So if you have already something known, so it will be easy for you to grasp. Else, maybe I will say 1 or 2 sessions might be required for you to get that one. And good thing is that slowly and slowly they are trying to reduce the dependency on this JavaScripting. So currently we are in 1.6, but as far as I remember, since I am using it for the past almost 3 years, 1.2 when was there. So in at that inception phase, it was having plenty of dependency on on JavaScripting. So at least fortunately now that we don't have that much dependency, so things are pretty much easy, not much to there. But still, I will say the backbone part is JavaScripting, because this is the thing which allows you, or you can say which separates this from other business object tools. And that I am saying this because this JavaScripting allows you to control your whole report at any moment of time. So in a layman term, if I say what it does, it uh, intentionally, you can say that it pauses your applications. So right from the starting to the end, wherever you go. So what happens is at any moment, you can pause your application, do any calculation, manipulate any object, and then you can resume. So so you have a better control of objects. And it's not that like any other business object tool that you will have some specified objects by which you can filter the data, a specified object by which you can trigger some event, a specified object by which you can display the chart. That limitation is not there. So what happens is each object has the capability, I will say almost every object, whether right now if you are seeing my screen, so there are plenty type of objects I have already added. So they are different type of object by which you will display your report, you will create your report. So any of the component, whether it is a chart, cross tab, button, filter, drop down, simple text, a simple icon, anything, you have the flexibility that by any object you can control any object. So that is the beauty of this tool, which I feel is the biggest point, that if you have XYZ object, so they have a dependency from, you can say in a dependency, that one to many kind of thing, that from one object you can impact any other object. So
But
all
does
are
that
kind of,
mean,
yeah,
sorry to interrupt, does
sure,
that
sure.
mean, say you've got a play button in it, right? Using that
Okay.
play button, I can, when I click on it, the graph will appear. Does that mean
Yeah, 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 yeah,
dependent?
yeah. Of course, of course. You can,
Okay.
every component actually has a scripting part. Okay. And every component have some, you can say it's whatever behavior is there. So from any component you can invoke that functions. For every object actually we have functions. Okay, so just a simple, I will tell you one example like what you asked so that you can get it better. I have a function like by which we set the visibility of chart.
Okay.
Okay, that is for chart and that is for every object, almost every object. So from any object you can invoke that function and set the visibility. So if I click on this play button, or you can say it's just the image or icon, I can set the visibility of this chart. I can change this chart into a different chart. Maybe I can change the axis what I am showing, or I can bring in a new chart and hide this chart, modify this cross table. So possibilities are endless, because every component's functions are available and accessible to me as soon as I go to the scripting part. So when I pause my application, if you see, we have a something called on click. So this is the place where you, when you click or you want to anything, if it is written here, then what happens is whenever you click on that one, your application pauses, and until unless all these are executed, it will be a fractions of second, you will not feel it that okay, this is scripting, but all these things will be calculated and your whole report will be refreshed accordingly.
So
So
does that mean, it is depend upon the volume of data when you're clicking and, doing a calculation. So
yeah,
if
it
you're,
depends upon the volume of data, but generally in scenarios you will not have something like by a click of single icon or single button, you will not be required to disturb all of the figures, all of the chart, all of the cross tab. But I am
okay,
telling you that you might be required to disturb any of the object. So that any is available in your this tool, that you can disturb any of the object. Even not in this report, even if you have another report, even that you can also disturb, or you can manipulate, or you can display. So not this domain is restricted to, but that is actually something very rarely required, that from this report you want to navigate to the second report. That is something parent-child report when we display. But I'm telling you that
but
possibilities you can,
is it possible to, using Design Studio, can you invoke a web intelligence report also?
yeah, you can invoke anything.
Okay,
Web
good.
intelligence, Excel, CS, Lumira. Lumira, I'm not sure. I need to check. But Excel, CS, Webby, these all I have already used. Or even the
Okay.
same Design Studio application, you can invoke also.
The reason I
Or
asked, basically, an organization, they create a dashboard, right?
yeah,
So using this, you can create a dashboard, but if they want to open,
yeah,
using open doc report kind of thing, so
Because
you
generally
can
these
click.
tools, uh, most of the time the thing is that what even I have seen, faced, experienced, or I guess you might also face it, there whenever the user or client want a very detailed report, for that
Mhm,
only the one tool comes into mind, that is Webby. So what
mhm,
happens is whenever you have a very detailed report with, let's say, thousands of rows,
mhm.
generally we put it to the Webby side and we here show a little aggregated data. So
Correct.
it's not that it has a constraint of row, but just to make segregate that, okay, my user will not be interested, let's say not everybody is interested in the detailed report. So why put all the content in the same report? Let
Mhm.
have a very aggregated report, let's say at region level. Now if somebody is interested at very plant material level, then either I can have another Design Studio report or Webby report or a dashboard report, depending upon my volume of data and what are the things I want to achieve in that report. So
Okay.
this is, you can, what you tell or what you're expected was correctly, and that is available, that is feasible in this tool. Okay.
Yep.
So this is what I was telling you, that this is few of the things which I have told you, and that is at just a very aggregated level, the information I have told you. But exactly what it does it, that you will be more familiar, or you will get in touch with it when we will explore each of the components, because that is something that gives you one advantage. Okay, this is something we can do. Then what are all the second advantages? What are the various different type of components we have available? So that also adds, you can say, some power into this object, or you can say this business object tool. So you have, if you, I will just give you the components like chart, cross tab, then you have dimension, filter, filter line, filter panel. So what it does it is a different type of, even filters are available. It's not that just a simple kind of filter. They all, I will say, perform similar kind of functionality, not same, with few limitation and few advantage. So depending upon your requirement, whichever suits your application better, we use. So these are the component. But before going to that, the basic question, whenever you invoke or you use any of the business object tool, I will say the first and foremost concern that comes is backend system. What are the backend systems to which we can connect? What are the limitations? And for different scenario, how do we connect it? So first question, like, what are the backend systems to which we can connect? So that, I will say, it does not have any limitation. You can connect to any of the system. But the thing is, it accepts the backend system into three types. First is your, maybe let's say your SAP BW NetWeaver system, where you have maybe some info cubes, Bex queries that you can access. Another way is your SAP HANA views. Let's say you have some created calculated view, analytical view, something that you can connect to HANA and use it. Third one is SAP Universe. Okay, you can use existing your databases, whatever you are there, and you have created universe, so you can directly consume it.
So yeah,
Okay.
I've got a question here. So
Yeah.
in Web Intelligence, we create a universe, and then using universe, we build all the ad hoc reporting
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
canned reports. Now, dashboard, does that uses the universe, or can it go to the direct database?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Depending upon what your database is, I told you that three backend system it connects. First one was your SAP BW system.
Okay.
Your Bex queries or InfoCube are there that you can consume directly. No need of any semantic layer or universe.
Okay.
Your
Mm-hmm.
SAP HANA system, if you have some views that
Yeah.
you can
Okay.
directly connect. Then
Mm-hmm.
third one is SAP Universe.
All right.
Okay,
Good.
so now the question comes that, okay, let's say if I don't have any SAP source backend system, if I have a non-SAP source, I have Oracle server, I have a SQL server, or let's say I have a simple flat file MS Access. So you have given me only three provision. How do I use that one? So what they have made it possible is that if you have any non-SAP source, just you need to do is create a universe. Just create a universe, because universe does not have any limitation. You can connect to any type of data source. So they have a one limitation, I will not say, but just a restriction, I will say, that, or you can say a tweak is required, that if you want to use a non-SAP source, then what you need to do is you just need to modify, or you can say you just need to create a universe and then consume it like you do it in your Webby, dashboard, crystal report, or anywhere. So in a short term, if I say, it allows you to use any of your databases. With a little bit of technique change will be changed if you are using SAP or a non-SAP. Otherwise, more or less functionality wise, you don't have any limitation that only this data source can be used or that one can be used. So we will see, explore each of them, how they connect, how we use all these things. So even if you have uh, I know you will have some concerns of how we connect and all these things. So that we all will see. But just to make sure, because as per my experience, the first and foremost questions is the same one: which system I can connect and what is the limitation. So that way,
Uh, I
yeah,
have one question.
sure,
Uh,
sure.
regarding this design studio, it's completely like it's a dashboard, right?
Yeah, it is a similar to.
Okay. And is it required like Java? Because suppose without any person, suppose I don't know even if it's Java also. So is it possible like even if also? Is there
No, no,
any
no,
problem?
nothing mandatory. As I told you, like it will be just an added advantage. I can say that, okay, if you have a familiarity with Webby, so you will have an advantage in understanding Designer Studio, or you have any of the business object tool you have already used. So let's say you have used dashboard. So if you move to Webby, you will have advantage. You will know that, okay, we first need to connect to backend system, then create bring object, map it to the component. So procedure wise, all are same. But it will be an advantage if you go to Webby with a prior understanding of XLCS, prior understanding of, let's say, any other tool. So that is just that one. Similar to here, you can say if you have a knowledge of C, Java, .NET, so it will allows you to understand the things a little easier, but not much impact is. Maybe I will say one or two more examples you will require to get the hands-on. Because
Okay.
main thing here is not the syntax. Syntax anywhere you can get that, okay, I need to set the visibility. You can get it on any SDN side, okay, application or component XYZ dot set visibility. The thing is you need to, the main concentration or main effort will be required that you should know that, okay, there is a function by which we can set the visibility. There is the function by which I can set the dimensions. There is a function by which I can change the data sources. So main thing on which you need to put emphasis is logical thing. When you like maybe in SQL Server or where even if you work on SQL, you main thing is understanding the logics. Okay, I need to develop this way. If I go, I will be able to achieve my functionality. Getting the syntax even in SQL, it's not something very rocket science that you need a proper training on that one. That is syntax wise, you can get the things not very easily, but not something which you cannot get it. But logical thinking and trying to create the path by which you can achieve your result, that is something which require practice and good understanding of the tool. So that with practice you can get very much familiar. So that is not a constraint, and it will be a very minor issue that if you don't have any familiarity.
Okay.
Okay, so that is about this uh, the discuss. So the backend systems and all these things I told. Then we have these various components, like as any other object tool, you generally use two components, chart and cross tab. In 1.6 they have used a scorecard also. So I will try to see if we get the, we are trying to get the update 1.6, but still we are in 1.5, but I will see if we can get 1.6 and we can show you that scorecard. So anyway, we will get it, it's not an issue. So these are the basic analytic components, and don't try to see that, okay, why the analytic component, why basic component. Actually, when it was built initially, at that moment it makes sense because there were very few components, and whatever placed under analytic was more of analytic, and whatever base were kind of basic. So if you come to basic components, we have like buttons whereby which you can trigger any actions or give user a functionality, something called push, by which, like as you were telling that if I want to create I want to open a report. So let's say this is my aggregated detail report and I want a detailed report. So you can give him a button which will have something like open URL, by which whenever he clicks, you will open the your maybe detailed Webby report or maybe another Design Studio report, this kind of thing. So similarly, we will have plenty of objects. chart type picker, then checkbox group. So this will allow you to have a multi-select feature by checkbox. Checkbox will allow you the feature to have something like show, hide, 0, 1 type of functionality. Then this date field allows you to, if user wants to enter some date and you want him to input some date, based upon that you want to some calculation, like if he enters the date, you will give the data for that month or that day or maybe from prior month, so something like that. Then this drop down is similarly one of the filters, and I will say this is one of the mostly used filter, and very something you can say very helpful for you to filter the data, and plenty of other things it will do. We'll see. So this you can time being don't consider formatted text view fragment gallery. It is something different. Then we have images. You know that any of the report which you create requires some image. That maybe a company's logo, company's some text, or maybe some tagline or something like that, or maybe something which describes your report in a nutshell. So maybe if it's a HR report, you want to display some pupil, 2-3 pupils standing, something like that. So for that purpose, image you use. An input field, when you want to user to have something input, and based upon that you can ask him to enter some value, and based upon that you will show him. Let's say you have reporting HR report for some company you are reporting, which lists all the employee. So in that case you can ask him to enter the employee ID or something by which you can give him the details. So you can, as soon as he enters the value, you can get a detailed table which shows his skills, date of joining.
So is it similar to input control in Webby?
No, I will not say, because input control is something which you have some list of values you will have already, and then you select 1 or 2 or 3 out of them. It is something where he just enters some text. So that generally I will tell you the usage comes when you have something which he needs to enter, have a very long list of values, a large list of values. So if I say, let's say he wants to search by an employee number. Okay, so your question will be that, okay, why not give him a drop down which will list out the value? But if your company has, let's say, 10,000 employees, so it doesn't make sense to give him a 10,000 value. It will take half an hour for him to browse all the values. So it's better to give him, okay, enter the 8-digit employee ID, 6-digit employee ID, or even you can use wildcard, like, okay, use first 3 characters or something.
Okay.
So like that one can use. Then we have list box, radio button. These are actually this radio button, list box, drop down box, and checkbox group. These 4 are used for filtering, with a little bit difference with the way they filter the data and their pros and cons. So that, but more or less the functionality to some extent are same, that is filter the data.
So are we going to cover basically each components?
Each component with the use case where to use, with the sample example and usage. So we will cover. I am just giving you a brief idea of what are all the components available.
Good. And do you have some exercises where we can basically do a practice when after demo or after basically?
I can tell you few of the things. That is, I can tell you, okay, this kind of thing. So,
okay.
Yeah, that we can also have.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have this text when you want to display some text information, like whatever chart name is there, or anything information you want to display with the text, or maybe some disclaimer kind of thing, or any note, something. Okay. And these are the container components, like which holds your objects. So they have given different type, like grid layout, page book, panel, pop-up, tab strip. So most of the maximum usage will be for that tab strip. That is something similar to what you have used in any other tools. It gives your application multiple tabs. You can segregate the data, or you can say the information accordingly, so that not all the information is merged in a one page and it's makes the thing so congested and messy that it's very hard to get the useful information from there. So what we do is we divide into different types. So like that one pop-up and you want to give some information, that might be a alert message, that might be something he wants to view. And similarly, we have different panels, grid layout. So they are different type of container components which are used to hold your object depending upon your usage. So this is, I will say, more or less about Design Studio tool. Then
So that's great. It gives me an idea basically about the product. And
yeah.
now few of the things I want to know, like, what, when you're gonna start the training, you
Okay.
said initially it's gonna be 22 hours session, right?
Yeah, close to that, I guess.
Yeah. How you gonna split, and how many days it will take to finish?
Actually, what I do is I generally divide my training session into 3 parts. First, we will have around close to 7 or 8 hours. It takes me to cover all of the component with the use case, or you can say with the example. Okay. Then another few of the hours, I will say 5-6 hours, where I will take, I can say, the advanced topics. So like high usage of scripting, then CSS is also involved into there, and then triggering multiple scripting and all these things. And we have function concept here also, like you can use. So this one, and then I will do is like another 3-4 session we use to, because what happens is not all the components you will be able to grasp at the first moment. So what happens is another 3-4 sessions will be required, so that, okay, once you are done with all the things, once you are given a hands-on session, and when you have tried yourself, to be precise, until unless you have done yourself, it's not very useful. So once you have done, obviously you will have some of the objects not very easily got, or you will have some issues. So in that session, what we do is we try to see that, okay, this object, let's say you will say that, okay, sir, panel is something which I did not got completely, I was stuck at some place. So I dedicate 3-4, or I will say depending upon number of hours represents or remaining, that session, so that we can explore whatever we have covered in a very fast way, or trimmed version, where we will have few of the components covered which you might feel that, okay, I need second time, or once more you want to be covered. So, and after that, in the third part, I will say, we mostly see with live examples. I will just, like you said, that, okay, whatever some sample dashboard, sample report I can give you, or you can also take, depends upon, I will, it's not an issue. And then in the last 3-4 sessions, we discuss that one. Okay, I developed this whole report in this functionality I tried to achieve. Because as a individual component understanding is different, and as a composite report, so that you can have a flow also of information from one part to another part. So you will, once you will develop that application, even it might be easiest, that's not a very complex you need to require. So, okay, if you develop that one, so what are the things you faced, or how I can modify or make it much better, or is it the right component I used for making the report? So these kind of things, fine tuning your report building approach, if I will say in a layman term. So that is how I place, but it is not something which will be as what I have said it might be. It might be that maybe you are developing the report maybe after just 2-3 session, and you trying something and you get some doubt. So it's not that until I finish off the thing you need to practice. You can keep it in together and parallelly, and we can have that one. But these are the time dedicated. So here and there flip-flop will be there, but more or less this is how I try to do it. So simple way, if I say, first basic things, second advanced thing, third I will say just recap or revisit all the things which require second round, and then try to build application yourself with my minor help as least as possible. Okay.
So yeah, that's great. I understand you have split it in three parts. But I want to know on a daily basis how many hours we're gonna spend on this. So you think in one go we're gonna spend 7 to 8 hours?
No, 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 not like that.
Yeah,
It will
I
be
won't be able to do
maximum.
that. Yeah.
Maximum daily, I will have 1 hour, not more than that. That
Okay.
will be enough for you to, because you also need to, because what I will tell you in 1 hour, it will take for 2 to 3 hours for you to understand, try,
Yes.
and get it
Yeah.
complete. So I don't prefer to have session more than 1 hour until
Okay.
unless something like somebody is not having that much time and he needs to move on. Only then I go for maybe half an hour more. But
Mhm.
generally 1 hour is more than enough I take. 1 hour a day.
1 hour a day. Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, that means basically probably 20 to 22
Yeah, days it will
sessions
take.
will be needed.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's great. In terms of environment, um, how I'm gonna get an environment to practice, after you provide a training?
That will be handled by Venkat. He will provide you all the details of the server system, credentials, everything he will be providing you. I don't think you will have any issue in that one. You will get everything.
Okay. So demo environment is not a problem. Practice
Yeah,
environments. Okay, great.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
practicing everything.
okay. In terms of timing, um, what will be the preferred timing from your side?
I can have it in morning also after, let's say 6:30. I am fine to have one session till 9. So let's say I can have either at 6:30, 7, 7:30 or 8 maximum.
Currently working on this?
Sorry?
Are you currently working for some
Yeah,
organization?
yeah, yeah. So that's why I can have the last in the morning. I can have maximum at 8 to 9, so that I leave by 9, 9:30, so that I can be
Okay.
there. And
But what will
evening,
be your preferred? Morning will be rush up, isn't it, for you?
not really, because I used to go office around 9:30, 9:30. So morning, if 6:30, 7 gets is fine, I am also fine. I don't have an issue. And evening, it's like I used to get free of around 7, 7:30. So around 8:30, 9, 9:30, 10, we can have.
Okay. Um, so at the moment, it's 9:30 probably in India, right?
Yeah,
9:37, yeah. So 9 o'clock means UK will be 3:30, right? Um, okay. I think so should be okay. If you can do around 8:30 session, and then we'll go through and see if one day you want to do it on early morning, and then on the other days you want to do it in the evening. I'm flexible at the moment
yeah.
because I'm looking for a job, so I have
Okay,
got a plenty of time. So uh,
okay,
that should be okay on the time side.
okay, fine.
Um,
So
in
I
terms
can,
of documentation, sorry, yeah, go ahead.
uh, I think maybe you all can have a, you can suggest, means it should not be that only I will take concern of you, but everybody should be means suitable for that time, so that
That's right,
so
yeah.
that's why I told you the time domain, that even morning, that is the range I am available, and
Mhm,
in the evening I can have it maybe around from 9 to 11.
mhm.
That one.
Okay. How many people will be there in the training session for this?
I'm not sure exactly, but I guess 3 to 4.
3 to 4. Okay, in terms of documentation, what documentation, and for 1.6, do we have a certification for Design Studio? Hello, can you hear me? Hello,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, now I can hear you. So I was telling that okay, time thing. I will ask Venkat. He will as individually ask you that okay, which time suits you, and then we can figure it out the common time. So
Okay.
he will figure it out.
So yeah, I was asking about the documents, and about the certification on this. So have we got a certificate on 1.6?
Certificate means?
SAP certification on Design Studio, like whereby we do a web intelligence certification from SAP. So I will be probably preparing it for the certification.
Okay, okay.
Not sure if Design Studio, they have created a certification on this.
Yeah, even I am not very much sure they would have created. So I will have the documentation. I can give you. It is kind of some YouTube tutorials are there, interactive tutorials, and more than that.
Okay. But
Okay.
we're not sure about, if SAP has prepared any certification for this one, so we can appear for certification.
That I think we need to contact or check with them. So that is something I can get that information, but not
I'll check
currently.
online.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah,
So
timing is, yeah, we can discuss about it.
yeah.
And then in terms of fees, what is the
That also I think he will get touch with you. Venkat will touch with you. That all
okay.
things actually he will manage. He will get back to you.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll speak to Venkat on those things then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
some of you asked that okay, some JavaScript example we're using it. So as I told you that right now, if I give you an example, it will, as I just told you, like he was telling that if I click on the button, so on that click, let's say I want to change the graph visibility. So that is nothing, just a JavaScript example. I will go here on the click, write the scripting part and make the graph change or hide, show, modify, anything, whatever. So we will cover that everything when we discuss each of the component, and then slowly when you get the understanding of component, when we migrate to scripting part. Okay.
Okay, in terms of Java scripting, I don't have any idea about it. I've never
No
done
issues,
it.
no issues. I told you that it's not concerned. You can be
Okay.
sure it will not be a hindrance for you. It will be fine.
But in terms of on the projects, do they expect a person with Design Studio knowledge should have Java scripting knowledge as well?
Mm, yeah, they will expect that one, because once you get familiar with this tool, you will anyway get familiar with JavaScripting. It's not the JavaScripting which you use on the, let's say, internet sites and all these things. It's a very partial, or you can say a very subset of that JavaScripting. It's just simple few syntax are there which are used, repetitive use are there. So it's not something which is very mandatory, but it is kind of uh, presume that okay, if somebody is have a knowledge of Design Studio, he will have that much understanding of JavaScripting that is required for creating report. So that is not something which will be very much difficult.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
So then I will get Venkat will get in touch with you regarding times and anything else, server details and all these things. So and he
Is
will then
Venkat
let
on
you
the
know.
session at the moment or not?
Sorry.
Is Venkat also available on this session or not?
Yeah, he's there. He's there.
Okay. So how is gonna contact? Are we gonna speak now, or he's gonna
No,
contact
no,
me
he
later?
will, I think, contact you over your contacts, email or something like that.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
so he will tell you when is the next session, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, whenever we figure it out the timings. Okay,
Great.
okay, then
Great.
I
Thank you.
guess,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
thanks,
Thank
thanks, thanks,
you.
have a nice day.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
See you soon. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. We will
Yeah,
make the
thank you.
recording session.